Okay. And let's do, well, just to explain, so we're talking about samadhi. So samadhi means focus. We must have a goal. We must have a focus. If you're not focused, then that's when we are like, we react to things and we're all over the place. It's very important to have a fixed goal. And if we don't have a fixed goal, then we pray to Krishna that please help us fix our goal. Fixing a goal is we want to go back home. I want to please Krishna. We want to love Krishna. We want Krishna to love us. So that goal should be there. And Prabhupada mentioned that only one who constantly engages in devotional service 24 hours a day. So we should be totally in samadhi, totally in focus that this is what we want to do and this is what we want to achieve. And in Bhagavad-Gita, it says we should be like a candle in a windless place. So in other words, like when the candle is lit, when there's wind, it sort of wavers left and right. But we should be like, the wind is there, but we should be like there is no wind. The wind of, the happiness and distress. We should be completely aloof to that kind of scenario. Let's do a prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukham Kroti Vasharam Hangum Yangyati Girim. Yad Kirpata Mahamande Shri Guru Din Taranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tassat Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Diriyat Nashta Preshava Vidreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Nestiki. Hare Krishna. So Lord Vishnu told King Prthu, my dear king, the constant change of this material world is due to the interaction of the three modes of material nature. The five elements, the senses, the demigods who control the senses, as well as the mind, which is agitated by the spirit soul. All these taken together comprise the body. Since the spirit soul is completely different from this combination of gross and subtle material elements, my devotee who is connected with me in intense friendship and affection, being completely in knowledge, is never agitated by material happiness and distress. So he's trying to get him more focused because Maharaj Prthu did become a little bit distressed by the actions of Indra. So Lord Narayan is telling him that you should be equipoised because you are, above the normal entities. I have empowered you. So you should set a good example. So the answer is given here that these activities are completely different from the activities of the spirit soul of the living entity. A crude example can be given this connection. A businessman riding in a motor car sits in the car, supervises its running and advises the driver. He knows how much gasoline is used up and he knows everything about the car. But still he is apart from the car and is more concerned with his business. And this is how we should be with our body. Although we take care of our body, but our business is something else. Even while riding in the car, he thinks of his business and his office. He has no connection with the car, although he's sitting there. As a businessman, he's always absorbed in thoughts of his business. So the living entity can be absorbed in thoughts of rendering loving service to the Lord. And then it will be possible to remain separate from the activities of the material body. This position of naturality can be possible only for a devotee. And I think it's a very good example that, and we always say that a businessman is always thinking about his business. Even when he locks up at work, his mind is always calculating things and planning in the head. Even though he could be sitting with someone in his family, with his friends, in his head, he's planning his business. And I've heard some great examples of that, but I won't go into that right now. But yeah, it's definitely true. Karmis, Gyanis, and Yogis cannot be bound in devotional service. Karmis fully engaged in the activities of the body. The aim of life is to give comfort to the body only. Gyanis try to get out of the entanglement of philosophical speculation, but they have no standing in the liberated position because they don't take shelter under the lotus feet of the Lord. They fall down from the exalted position of Brahman realization. Yogis also have a bodily concept of life. They think they can achieve something spiritual by exercising the body through dharan, asan, pranayam, etc. Thus, the Ashtanga Yoga moves. A devotee's position is always transcendental because of its intimate relation with the Supreme Personality Godhead. Therefore, to remain always aloof from the actions and reactions of the body and engage in one's real occupation, namely rendering service to the Lord, can be possible only for devotees. So, Sri Prabhu is saying, don't be a karmi, don't be a jnani, don't be a yogi, because these three, they are looking out for themselves. Some want a body, some want to have fun with their senses, the others want to have powers with this body, jnanis don't want this body. So it's all about the body, they're all on a bodily platform. But a devotee just wants to please the Lord. He will use his body to please the Lord, not himself. My dear heroic king, please keep yourself always equipoised and treat people equally. So now Lord Narayan is coming to the next stage. First, he's told him how he should be focused and he should not waver like a candle in the wind, should always be in samadhi. Now he's telling him that he should set a good example for his citizens and he should look after them nicely. My dear heroic king, please keep yourself always equipoised and treat people equally, whether they are greater than you, in the intermediate stage, or lower than you. Don't be disturbed by temporary distress or happiness. Fully control your mind and senses. In this position, try to execute your duty as king in whatever condition of life you may be posted by my arrangement. For your only duty here is to give protection to the citizens of your kingdom. So whatever situation we are in, we should understand that this is Krishna's arrangement and we should happily at least try to accept it. And then, Krishna gives his mercy when you accept his arrangement. Here is an example of receiving direct instruction from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu. One has to execute the order of Lord Vishnu, whether receiving it directly from him or from his bona fide representative, the spiritual master. Arjuna fought the battle of Kurukshetra under the direct order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna, similarly here, Prthu Maharaj, is also being given order by Lord Vishnu regarding the execution of his duty. He had the ruling potency. This is why he was there. That's why he took birth. We have to stick to the principles stated in Bhagavad-Gita. Vya visatimika buddhi. Everyone's duty is to receive orders from Lord Krishna or from his bona fide representative and take these orders as his life and soul. So his soul, but the focus of following instructions without personal considerations. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states that one should not care very much whether he's going to be liberated or not, but he should simply execute the direct order received from the spiritual master. If one sticks to the principle of abiding by the order of spiritual master, he will always remain in a liberated position. A common man must execute the rules and regulations of Varnashma Dharma by working in his prescribed duty according to the caste system, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. And the spiritual master and the spiritual order system, Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. So we should be saying that we should follow our prescribed duties according to these varna and ashrams. If one simply executes regularly and strictly the injunctions given for the different divisions of life, then one satisfied Lord Vishnu. So as a king, Prthu Maharaj was ordered by Lord Vishnu to keep himself always aloof from the activities of the bodily situation and engage always in the service of the Lord and thus keep himself in the liberated stage. So interesting thing is that Prthu Maharaj, he's the ruling potency of the Lord, and yet Lord Vishnu is advising him to be aloof from the activities of the body So in a way, this is actually a instruction to us. This is what Srimad Bhagavatam is all about. That instructions are given to the people, so we may learn from this. Because Maharaj Prthu, he's a topmost king, yet Lord Vishnu is advising him. So if he needs advice, then we definitely need advice. But I think it's mainly for our purpose. One can fully remain in intimate connection with the Supreme Lord directly, or receive orders from his bona fide spirit representative, the spiritual master, and execute the orders sincerely when one keeps aloof from the activities of the body. The Lord helps us by giving us directions how to act in devotional service, and thus advances on the path back home, back to Godhead. He instructs us outwardly in the form of the spiritual master, and therefore one should not accept the spiritual master as an ordinary human being. So when the spiritual master is instructing us, he's actually representing God himself. So he's a representative God, or he's a substitute for the Supreme Personality Godhead. One should treat the spiritual master as a Supreme Personality Godhead and never be envious of him or consider him to be an ordinary human being. If we follow the instruction of spiritual master and execute devout service to the Lord, we will remain always free from the contamination of bodily and material activities, and our life will be successful. So we actually advise to follow sadhu, shastra, and guru. So these all should be in line. So spiritual master, as long as he's, what he's telling you is in line with the shastra and the sadhus, then yes, he is a representative of God. But sometimes we've had situations where things don't go to plan. So we have to be intelligent ourselves to understand, yes, I'm giving him the right advice. To give protection to the general mass of people who are citizens of the state is a prescribed occupation duty for a king. By acting in that way, the king in his next life shares 1/6 of the result of the pious activities of the citizens. So if he's doing his prescribed duty properly, he gets 1/6 of the result of the pious activities of the citizens. But a king or executive head of a state who simply collects taxes from the citizens but does not give them proper protection as human beings, has the results of his own pious activities taken away by the citizens. And in exchange for his not giving protection, he becomes liable to punishment for the impious activities of his subjects. So that's the rule given here. And I'm sure that's very common in today's society. The question may be raised here that if everyone engaged in spiritual activities to attain salvation and became indifferent to the activities of the material world, then how could things as they are go on? And if things are to go on as they ought to, how can a head of state be indifferent to such activities? So in answer to this question, the word Shreya, auspicious, is used here. The division of activities in society as arranged by the Supreme Personality Godhead was not blindly or accidentally created. As foolish people say, the Brahmana must do his duty properly, and the Kshatriya, the Vaishya, and even the Shudra must do the same. And even every one of them can achieve the highest perfection of life, liberation from this material bondage. So this is also comes from Bhagavad-Gita. By executing one's prescribed duties, one can attain the highest perfection. That's Bhagavad-Gita 1845. So Lord Vishnu advised Maharaj Prthu that a king is not enjoined to give up his kingdom and the responsibility of protecting the praja, or citizens, to instead go away to the Himalayas for liberation. So you can't give up your prescribed duty. If you're a king, then your duty is to rule. And if you try to act like a Brahman, then then you're not following your prescribed duty. He can attain liberation while executing his royal duties. The royal duty or the duty of the head of state is to see that praja or the general mass of people are doing their respective duties for spiritual salvation. A secular state does not necessitate a king or head of state who is indifferent to the activity of the praja. In the modern state, the government has many rules and regulations for conducting the duties of the praja, but the government neglects to see that the citizens advance in spiritual knowledge. If the government is careless in this matter, the citizen will act whimsically, without any sense of God realization or spiritual life, and thus become entangled in sinful activities. Actually, this is amazing, because this is what goes on nowadays. And my own observation is, you see a lot of people coming from other countries. When you go in shopping center, you see so many people, and sometimes the way they will dress or behave, and the women are smoking away, and the way they're acting. So it's not their fault. I was just looking at. I went to the bank yesterday, and I was looking at this woman, was heavily smoking away. So I think she was a foreign from another country, and she was smoking. I thought for a minute, why are you doing this? Especially ladies, don't expect me to do this kind of thing. Heavily smoking there in public. But then it just occurred to me that actually it's not her fault. These people have been probably in a very dictatorship rule, everything. That's all they know. Nobody has actually taught them anything. The culture has declined in wherever they are. It's all about rulership, dictatorship. So they're just happy to survive. They just want to survive. It's not their fault. So it's up to the heads of the state to give guidance to the people, give right knowledge to them, give right advice to them, and for their health and for their spirituality. But that doesn't come. So I'm thinking, why am I thinking badly of her? It's not her fault. It's just the way their society has become, because how the kind of people have been ruling their countries. So it's very important for the people in charge to set good example for the praja, for the citizens. Lord Vishnu advised Maharaj Prthu that a king is not enjoined to give up his kingdom and the responsibility of protecting the praja or citizens, to instead go away to the Himalayas for liberation. He can attain liberation while executing his royal duties. So the royal duty or the duty of the state is to think that the praja or the mass of people are doing their respective duties of spiritual salvation. So that's what I'm saying. So an executive head should not be callous to the welfare of the general mass of people while he simply goes on collecting taxes. The king's real duty is to see that the citizens gradually become fully Krishna conscious. Krishna conscious means completely free from all sinful activities. As soon as there is complete eradication of sinful activity in the state, then there will be no more war, pestilence, famine, or natural disturbances. This was actually prevailing during the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthira. If a king or head of the government is able to induce the citizens to become Krishna conscious, then he is worthy to rule over the mass of people. Excuse me. Otherwise, he has no right to levy taxes. If the king looks after spiritual interests of the citizens, he can levy taxes without difficulty. In this way, both the subjects and the king will be happy during this life. And in the next life, the king will be able to share 1/6 of the pious activities of citizens. Otherwise, by levying taxes on the sinful citizens, he will have to share the reactions of the sinful activities. So there is spiritual rules. God had, the state will have their own rules, and Krishna has his own rules. There's reward and punishment, and how we behave. How we behave with our own body, how we behave with our family and friends, and how we behave with the wider society. And even our next body is based on that, how we behave with people, how we behave with ourselves. That decides our next destination. So this simple principle can be applied to parents and spiritual masters as well. If parents simply give birth to children like cats and dogs, but cannot save their children from imminent death, they become responsible for the activities of their animalistic children. Lately, such children are turning into hippies. Similarly, if a spiritual master cannot direct his disciples to become free of sinful activities, he becomes responsible for their sinful acts. These certain laws of nature are unknown to the present leaders of society. So, according to this, the present leaders, who are not taking their responsibility properly according to the Shastras, then they become responsible for the sinful acts of their citizens. Since the leaders of a society have poor fund of knowledge and the citizens in general are rogues and thieves, they cannot be an auspicious situation for human society. At the present moment, the whole world is full of such an incompatible combination of state and citizens. And therefore, there is constant tension, war, and anxiety as an inevitable result of such social conditions. So again, you have to blame the people in charge for creating such a society. Lord Vishnu continued, my dear King Prthu, if you continue to protect the citizens according to the instructions of the learned Brahman authorities, as they are seen by the disciplic succession, by hearing from master to disciple, and if you follow the religious principles laid down by them, without attachment to ideas manufactured by mental concoction, then every one of your citizens will be happy and will love you. And very soon you'll be able to see such already liberated personalities as the four Kumaras, Sanak, Sanatan, Sanandan, and Sanat Kumar. My dear King, I am very captivated by your elevated qualities and excellent behavior, and thus I am very favorably inclined toward you. So now Lord Narayan is saying that he understands that the behavior of Maharaj Prthu is very good and is very favorable to him. You may therefore ask from me any benediction you like. One who does not possess elevated qualities and behavior cannot possibly achieve my favor. So if he's achieving his favor, then he knows that Maharaj Prthu has great qualities and behavior. My favor simply by performance of sacrifices, severe austerities or mystic yoga. So Narayan is saying that just by doing yajnas and sacrifices and austerities, you cannot get his favor. You have to show by example. You have to have those qualities internally as well, not just don't try to buy Narayan. Be the person that he wants you to be. But I always remain equipoised in the heart of one who is always equipoised in all circumstances. The great sage Maitreya continued, my dear Vidur, in this way, Maharaj Prthu, the conqueror of the entire world, accepted the instructions of Supreme Personality of Godhead on his head. Yeah, this is amazing instructions. And thank you all so much for joining. Hina Mataji, Ishani, Madhavi Mataji, Partha Prabhu, Praveen Mataji, Prem Prakash Prabhu, Ravina Mataji, and Venkat Prabhu. Please share your thoughts, anything that stood out for you, and anything that you like to add, please share. And we'll start with Venkat Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu, nice to have you today.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji, loud and clear.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for your wonderful service and association. I think only one thing, every time I hear these instructions, one of the thing I feel these kings or maybe ministers, everyone, they're doing so much of sin themselves, and then that they're making up people to make sin. So I don't know how much they will fall down in the next year. But so yeah, maybe everyone should be knowing this, whoever is ruling, so that they can stop or reduce sinful activities.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it's the world. They got different focus now. It's all become very competitive, and it's about it's important to save the economy, but there is no culture left. In other words, there is no culture, there is no spirituality involved, and it's all about materialism. The focus is on materialistic life rather than any kind of spirituality. And people don't know any better. You cannot expect people if there's regulations, there's rules and system and guidance, instructions in universities and schools, proper instruction for everyone, then you can achieve a spiritual society, a society which understands, is moralistic in their behavior, and they have good qualities. But if you're not enforcing those qualities, you're not enforcing those things, then people will do what they think is best. This is a problem. Those qualities, even the leaders are probably atheists. A lot of them probably atheists anyway. So how can they give advice to other people? That's not why they come into power. Is to to give spirituality to people or teach them that they think. Especially in a democracy, people are left to their own devices. So, it is very, very awkward situation that has built up through the ages. Things have changed, but it's our responsibility. This is why it's our responsibility as devotees. It says in Srimad Bhagavatam that when you have a human body, that means you have an opportunity and you have a responsibility. So even if the government's not taking responsibility, we have the opportunity. We have the opportunity to become spiritualized and to understand what spirituality is. And then taking that opportunity, then it's our responsibility to help others as well. And this is what we're trying to do in Krishna consciousness. Thank you so much, Venkat Prabhu. Okay. Hina Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam, everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances. Some really lovely, pertinent points for me this morning. Lots of nectar. I really liked your initial points, Prabhu. The verse starts off about our relationship between our body and our spiritual soul, and you gave the really good example of how we should really be like a candle in the wind, and we need to remain our soul. We need to remain almost unaffected by external disturbances. I try to remind myself of this most days, really. I suffer from a lot of bodily pains on a daily basis. I've got a condition that causes a lot of joint pain every day. So for me, this is, I think, my a lesson which I try to kind of remind myself of every day, and to try to remain unaffected and unattached with everything that's going on, including the bodily pains and pains that might be inflicted by our circumstances and all the weather, other people, etc. So a really good point. And I think also it reminds me of another crucial point around how our human life is for penance. Our human, the life that we've been given, that we are, we're so privileged to have this, to be in this human form, and that we have we've had the intelligence, we have the buddhi, we have these tools to, and our sastra, our gurus, so everything is helping us to move us along in this journey, essentially. So we need to keep focused on that as well, that we're here for a reason. Give our human life to Krishna this year, to this life. It's about sacrifice, it's about penance. We can do it, and that's the point of our human life. That's our goal in life, really. And to completely devote our mind, body, soul, everything to Krishna, really, through this life. If we can do that, then that's the goal. And then your second point was around, for me, that I really liked, was around obviously following our duty and dharma, which is very instructive to Maharaj Prthu. Lovely instructions from Lord Narayan. So it's the importance of following our duty, and that we just need to remain fixed in our situations and where we are, whichever life stage we're at, whatever duties, whatever material duties we have to complete. As Srila Prabhupada, I remember saying in one of his lectures, we just need to finish our business and get out. And that's all we need to remain focused on, really, just finishing our business and get out. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, sorry to hear about your pain, Mother. I totally understand. So the candle flickering is, I think, more concerned with the mind getting disturbed. Understand if you have bodily pain, then that is also very disturbing. So we pray to Krishna that this is duality of life. We always have some situation. We have three types of problems. It can be bodily problems, or can be problems from other people, or problems by the demigod, the weather and everything, things like that. So this is one of the symptoms, is the bodily problem. Yes, it can be quite, it can take away our focus for sure. So it can be quite disturbing. We have to deal with that, whether it's through medication or, or prayers as well to Krishna. Please help us so we can continue with our bhakti. And at the same time, we have to understand the higher goal, or the highest problem that we have, that we are stuck in this cycle of birth and death. This is how Srila Prabhupada explains that, we should see that we have a bigger problem, which is that we are stuck in this material world. So it's like they'll give you an example, like somebody cuts a finger and they're in a lot of pain, but if they have a phone call that something else, a bit more painful has happened, then they forget the pain of the finger and they focus on the other bigger thing. So our bigger thing is that we have to get out of this body, which is full of pain and misery, and we have to focus on our bhakti. So I hope this helps. I know it's not easy said than done, but that is the theory of it, that we focus more on the higher goal, or the higher problem that we have. And these three kinds of problems will be there. This is the symptom of this material world, that somehow we have to cope with them and get out of this material world. Thank you so much, Mataji. Ishani Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Beautifully explained, Prabhuji. Nothing much to add. It's just I saw that similar thing where Krishna was preaching Arjun in battlefield, like to create a balance. If you are in devotion, it doesn't mean that you leave everything for liberation and go in the forest and start attain vairagya. It's about being in the present situation, whatever is given to you by Krishna, and still remembering him all the time. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely right. That was the dilemma of Arjun. He thought renouncing meant leave everything, go to in the Himalayas or something. But Krishna says, I'm not saying renounce your work. You must do your work. I'm saying renounce the propensity to enjoy the fruit of your work. That's what you have to renounce, not work itself. That must continue. If everybody just went off, then the world, nothing will happen. The world will stop. Krishna, he created this world. He wants us to stay in here and improve ourselves and help others as well. It's not just about ourselves. We have to help others as well. And this is actually the theme of what Lord Narayan is saying to Prthu Maharaj as well, that you set a good example to people and you help your citizens, help them become spiritualized. So yes, definitely very important. Thank you so much for that. Partha Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah, such a nice class. And already everything is covered. For me, few points which struck for me, like 24 hours engage in devotional service and try to do anything, not to please yourself, but to please the Lord. And GSS, like Guru Sadhu Sastra. So here, I don't have an official Guru, but here everybody is a Guru for me. Like we have Siksha Guru and Diksha Guru. So everybody in this group at moment are all Siksha Gurus for me. Absolutely. And from everyone I learn something or the other from each and every person. You're giving your time every Friday and you need some time to prepare as well for this. So you're giving so much. So from everyone we learn things here, Prabhuji, not from the Guru itself, but from everyone. And I like that statement, candle in a windless place. It's very, very difficult, but at least being in this association, we can think of trying to be like that, at least, and set us a good example for the citizen. So, I mean, not just in the outside world, but even in the house also, we can set as an example to the children by doing things rather than by just speaking. That's all, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Sort. Yeah, especially Tom Prabhupada mentioned in this talk that actually sin, if you're bringing on children like cats and dogs, then it's a sin. If you bring children into this world, then you must help them understand spirituality. Then when soon as you bring children into this world, you are responsible for their spirituality. Simple as that. You must take that responsibility and help them, because children don't know. It's like the citizens. If the king doesn't tell them, that they don't know. If the parents don't tell them, kids don't know. So the king is like a parent to the citizens, right? So similarly, the parents with the children. I mean, we're not kings, but we are king of our own castle, in our own home, and our children are our citizens. So we can take the example of Maharaj Prthu with the citizens to us and our children and help them in their spirituality, and set, like you said, set good examples for them as well. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Okay, Praveen Mathaji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Sorry, I couldn't open. Dhanavad Pranab to everyone. Very nice class and very nice points put by everybody. Yeah, for me, I'm still thinking how the society, is going in the wrong direction. All the leaders and the models, whatever, giving the wrong message to the society. So yes, we have to do our business, do devotional service, think of Krishna 24 hours. But then at the same time, we have to take Prabhupada's mission forward and give this knowledge to the society as well, as much as we can. So we have to get stronger and open more temples, and so people can come to the temple and get this knowledge that's hidden, because everybody's after material things. And like Hina Mataji said, I am in the same situation, going through lots of body aches for the last 4-5 years. But then I always pray to Krishna, please give me strength so at least I can chant your names. So it becomes hard for me to sit down. And if I think I'm doing my 16 rounds sitting down, then I'm in a lot of pain for 2-3 days. So I have to get up, walk around and do my rounds. So we just have to, keep going and do our duty to take Prabhupada's mission forward, because it, like you said, I get very hurt as well when I see women doing the wrong things. And I saw in India, and my heart cries, what's the society going to? And when I went to India, where my sister lives, it's like a colony, and they were doing like a women empowerment. And then like one day I was going to the temple, and the auto rickshaw man, I think I told the story, didn't turn up. And then we were just walking, and my husband, I said, okay, we'll do the chanting. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning, and met this lady, and she started asking how come, she was very impressed. We've come from England, I'm wearing a sari and I'm doing my chanting in the morning. And she said, we've got this program, come there. So then I said, well, I'm not a speaker, but I did, made the points, and I talked about Prabhupada, what Prabhupada has given us. And I said, even in my life, spirituality was missing. And despite having all the material things, I was not happy. So, when the jigsaw fits in, and it is our duty, I said, as women, to give it to our children, and then, to the further society. So I was very happy, how Krishna, rather than me going for Mangalarti, he took me there where I could convey my message. So that was a very good, thing. So that's what we have to do. We have to, pass on the information to as many people. Yes, okay, book distribution is good, but I think the message that's given verbally, and, that will be more effective, because people can take the book and put it in the bin. So again, that is painful for me. So we don't want our Bhagavad-Gitas be put in the bin. Yeah, that's what I feel. Thank you, Prabhuji. Haribol.
Thank you, Madhu. Thank you, Madhu. Absolutely right. Yeah, we must help people. Prem Prakash Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanva Pranam, Yashapad Ki Jai, Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. I was just looking at it, Prabhuji, and it was so wonderful. I mean, for listening to Mataji, I mean, such a wonderful service. And this is how actually we get engaged in the services uh, of Lord Krishna. So Krishna engages us in different kind of services based on us, obviously based on our devotion and surrender. Then Krishna will engage us. All we have to say yes. Uh, Also, just an additional comment on Mataji. Basically, these Prabhupada's books are not, just don't consider them books because they are live personalities, basically. They go to some person's house and they sit in their house just waiting for the right opportunity. And when the moment is right, so they do some leela, basically, and the person get to read those books. And then it's Prabhupada directly preaching to them through books. That's what Prabhupada said, that I'll be alive in my books through my body. So that is very important, that when we give books, that doesn't mean that the preaching is not done. I mean, we are just the medium for books to reach them. The books are preaching themselves. And when we actually go on Sankirtan also, then people say, you don't have to actually distribute the books. The book will go to whom they want to go. So it's just we are the medium, surrendered souls, transparent in our service. So if somebody takes it, then it's fine. We did our effort. If they don't, then also fine. So that brings in humility. But that's very important. The person who takes the book, they're going to be either benefit themselves or benefit someone else. So that's very important. Anyways, Hare Krishna. So which is the important point which actually I like, Prabhuji, is the way you gave the example of car. I've heard that example earlier many times, but the perspective of businessman that you said, that I've heard that for the first time, that when businessman is sitting in the car, then although he is concerned about the car, whether it's properly fueled, I mean, it's running fine, servicing and everything. But if he has a big focus on his business, then he always be thinking on the business, how to actually fulfill his business goals. So being in the material world, obviously we've been given different. And another point I really like, that being in the material world, it's very important to understand is that we've been given roles. So the roles are basically based on varna and ashrama, and varna and ashrama are obviously step by step, that's incremental. People progress on that. As they behave from previous life, they will achieve in the next life, they will achieve the body, because it's been said that yatha dehantaram praptata dehantaram prapti. So the way you were thinking, so next body will be accordingly. So many of us, sorry, not many of us, but many of Brahmana will contend on that. Uh, however, it's very important to understand that a Vaishnava can actually take a horizontal route. So they can exit, they can achieve the liberation, or basically they can achieve the devotional service, being situated in any of the varna and ashrama, as long as they are fulfilling the duties of that varna and ashrama and devoted to Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu. So that means even a Shudra is doing his duty. What is his prescribed duty? If he's actually attaining, if he's actually doing his service as a devotional service, as a devotion to the family, for the fulfillment of a spiritual goal, or as a devotion for how Krishna is trying to, what Krishna wants us to do, because otherwise society will follow. That's why Krishna has said that he scientifically divided this varna and ashrama system, and that's what dharma. I mean, that's what our religion is originally named as varnashrama dharma. People say Sanatana dharma and all the Hinduism and all this, but Prabhupada says that it's varnashrama. So that's how they exit. very important is that I was actually reading yesterday, and I came to know is the moment when he hears or chant the holy name, even once, his body changes, and we are not able to see that body change because in a gross way, we will not be able to see a child is growing to teenager and then youth and then old age and then dwindle. So it's so slow that our gross eyes wouldn't be able to notice. But the body, they say that the body immediately changes to spiritual, or the process to change of the body to spiritual immediately starts. And to add to that, even bigger point, Prabhupada says that the body, we don't see the gross body, but we only seeing the gross body, but we are not worried about the subtle body consisting of mind, ego, and intelligence. So the moment one chants a holy name, his subtle body changes, which we don't see. So Prabhupada says that even a Chandal, or basically outcast, lower than a Varnashma, outcast of the Varnashmas in the Malaysia, even he chants the holy name once, he has to be considered as a pure, not pure devotee, he has to be considered that his body has transformed, spiritual body has transformed to a spiritual body, and he should be considered as a Vaishnava. Because we are seeing the gross body name, not the subtle body. So this is how actually the subtle things keeps on moving. Such an interesting point. In the previous sangha, Nitai Kirtan Prabhuji showed his tilak and said that, look, anyone who watches the tilak of a Vaishnava also gets the benefit of it. Such a wonderful point. So all these are such a wonderful points basically, and I mean it takes time actually to just sit down, disconnect from everything else what's going around for 5 minutes or 10 minutes in a life, and then see what we have learned. Because once it's so much of information that we actually get to just get, I mean the information we are not able to absorb the information. Well, it's very important for us to have a reflection reflection time in a day, and then to think how we actually, what we have got and how we can practically realize it. And Prthu Maharaj is actually taking not just responsibility of one person himself, but he's taking responsibility of entire world. And that's why if a child, like you said, Prabhuji, if a child is not progressing in Krishna consciousness, parents are responsible. And to bring him in Krishna consciousness, if a parent has to be rude to a child, it's only beneficial for a child. So that has to be understood. Similarly, if a king is serving the entire world, entire his kingdom, and if to bring his praja or citizens to Krishna consciousness for the ultimate goal of life, even if he gives some punishment and brings the citizens into Krishna consciousness, is still beneficial for the citizens. And that's what Prthu Maharaj was doing. Thank you, Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. It's tough love, that's called tough love. So whether it's a king or a parent, sometimes they have to be a little bit tough to get the point across. Venkat Prabhu, you had your hand up?
Yes, Prabhuji, I just maybe I think Prem Prakash Prabhuji already explained about the book distribution. So just thought of adding a point there, but yeah, he covered. Just to say that, right, we don't distribute the books for free, so we collect minimal amount, so the books don't go to bin. That's the purpose. We take some Lakshmi before giving book, and we explain as well. Sorry, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought it might be about book distribution because you are
Sorry, Prabhuji, can I apologize, for using the wrong word? I fully believe, like, yes, we have got Prabhupada through his books, but the reason, and I've got mercy, because of Bhagavatam sitting in my house for 10 years, because I was walking past this charity shop, and like in the shop window on the floor, there were 2 copies of Bhagavatam, and I thought, oh my God, what are they doing here in the charity shop? I quickly went in and I just bought those books. Whether I read them then, I don't know, but they were sitting in my house for probably 10 years. And here I am reading now. So that's what I tell my daughter as well. Even if somebody doesn't read it, because it's Krishna himself, So the Bhagavad-Gita is non-different from Krishna. So people still get the mercy. So I've done book distribution in India, and like some people said, oh no, I've got other books. And I said, you still have it, read this one. And even to that priest in the temple, he said, oh, I've got lots. I said, no, read Prabhupada's book. And but then we all, I need clarification, because like when we do 10 offenses in the morning, it also say to instruct a faithless person on the glories of the holy name is an offense. So that's why, because yes, I am new and I haven't got a mentor, so I have all these questions. And then we think like when the books are given, because like my one acquaintance, she's Muslim, and she was given books, and she said, oh, but we always used to speak about God. I said, I don't care, you're Muslim, as long as you love God, that's what matters. So we used to tell each other, talk about ours, and then she said, oh, actually, I've got this book, and you better take it. It is Vedas, the book on Vedas. So she just gave it to me. But then I thought, if it was somebody else, they could have just put it in the bin as well. And probably people do. So that's where my comment came from. I'm really sorry,
That's fine.
So
You will have to fix. I mean, I was doing book distribution, and I tried to distribute to a white-bodied person, and he said to me that now you want to give me this book, but if I take it, I'll just go home and use it, for burning my fire, for heating. So I just retracted straight away. I said, this is not what I'm giving you the book for. If that's your attitude, then it's best you don't take it.
yeah,
So,
yeah, but not everybody says, what they're going to do. But then it does happen. So it's not that it doesn't. So, but then, yeah, we are doing the right service. I understand that. And I've done in India. So, but I want to do it here as well. So, I just want everybody's blessings. So, but we just hope that we give it to the right people who are going to read them. Very bold, Prabhuji.
yeah,
Mataji, the important thing is that when person accepts a book and give a Lakshmi for that, because Lakshmi is important, because if you accept a spiritual education, you need to give some kind of service, either service or Lakshmi. So that's how we say that you give a Lakshmi, even if it's 1p, you do it. And if they have given time to listen your discussion and they're impressed what you're trying to actually give it to them, that time is also considered as Lakshmi or investment. So that can be considered as that. But by doing so, a person gets a Gyat Sukriti. The person gets a benefit that will take him near to the devotional service, even if he doesn't read the book. Obviously, the book will do the magic that's going to happen. But even if he doesn't read the book, he gets a Gyat Sukriti to actually take up the devotional service. That means a Gyat Sukriti, I hope you understand that the person gets opportunity and enough spiritual credit to take on to the spiritual services to the next level. So that's what a person gets. So never take book distribution very lightly, because it's part of Sankirtan Yajna. Do it the way the Prabhupada has told us, and we don't know, even we don't know the glories of holy name, Mataji, what we are going to explain it to others.
I know. I'll have to come with you, Prabhuji. You'll have to take me when you go book distribution. So I need to learn.
Mataji, I know the philosophy. I'm not good at actually doing myself. But yeah, but just setting the
We
attitude
need
right.
somebody
That's
to
what is
teach
important.
us, because that's what I've been saying. I've asked a couple of people, because I want to do it the right way. So I want to learn how to approach people and what are the right things to say. Yeah.
chance, because we are, it's one of our plans to increase the book distribution, and I think we need Prem Prakash Prabhu to inspire, because the way he's speaking now, I'm inspired. I feel like going out and do some book distribution. So thank you so much. Yeah, it makes total sense. Okay, brilliant points. Just love the Sangha today. Radhan, you want to say something?
Yeah. Hare Krishna, everyone. Nice discussion, and very nice that everybody's getting their doubts cleared. And the books, as when we do the Prema Dhvani in the morning after the artis in the temples and at homes, we say Brihad Mridanga Ki Jai. And what is Brihad Mridanga? Brihad Mridanga are the books of Srila Prabhupada. And the devotees, the senior devotees who are writing the books after Srila Prabhupada. And I just wanted to say that once, I was in the plane and I had some flight pursers, the stewards, they were asking me, just, I just went for a glass of water, and as a devotee, you just come to Krishna anyway. And I was discussing, and this guy tells me that, yes, my mother goes to ISKCON temple. He was a young lad, and then we just talked and talked for, I think, 1 hour in the gangway. And he asks me later on, have you got any books on you? Because I'll be traveling to other destinations, then I'll be going back home to India. And I felt really bad, because at that moment, I didn't have any books. All my books were distributed in India already. And I just felt that, oh God, next time in your hand luggage, don't worry about any nonsense which you carry, or, the stuff. You should have more and more books of Srila Prabhupada. So I just gave him the website addresses, the ISKCON Desire Tree, the Veda base, and everything, because I just felt that he's ripe and ready. He's in such a job that he might not think about God and Krishna at that moment, but he's still he's connected to the roots. He's the mercy is coming, like Prem Prakash Prabhu was saying, the Agyat Sukriti. God knows he has done in his life, or his parents, or the family he has taken birth into, or that just moment that we just call Krishna's name in our talks, it comes. So books are very important. Books are the basis, like we say in the 7 principles of ISKCON. So we cannot deny them. And also, today's discussion brings home that point again, that wherever we are, however we are, either we are parents, or we are in our job situation, we are mentors of others, or we are leading a group, or we are leading a business, or are providing any kind of service to the society, or in our Varnashram Dharma, we have opportunities all the time to make devotees. And a very beautiful thought I read this morning was that Prabhupada says that just by a smile, a pure devotee can make more devotees. So all of you have a lovely spring break, and Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. So, shall we leave the chanting today? I think it's 2 minutes past 9. What do you think?
1 round.
Or shall we do 1 round?
Yeah, I'm okay, Prabhuji, if you're okay, in case you have to go.
You can lead that, Mataji. Thank you so much. Let's do 1 round.